Hello, I hope you're well. This video is about narcissism, clues in the title. It's been prompted by an accusation by someone who left negative comments underneath one of my previous YouTube videos. Which one was it? It was, sorry, this is another unscripted video. The video was about autism not being a disease. I've since deleted the comments, so you can't find it anymore. And the person said, why aren't you doing a video about being autistic people being followed by toxic people? And I said, well, because it's a video about autism not being a disease. And if you want to make that video about being followed by toxic people, then you can make that video. There's nothing stopping you doing that. And they took exception to my response and called me a narcissist and then referred to me as a toxic person on someone else's YouTube channel. Of course, the irony was that they were being a toxic person and a narcissist. Which I'll clarify in a moment. But yeah, it was very unpleasant, but at the very least, it gave me material for another YouTube video because I'm a massive narcissist, or am I? Let's figure out, well, we don't need to figure it out. Let's look at a definition. So I Googled narcissist or narcissism, and I found this. So to be a narcissist is to have an unreasonably high sense of self-importance and require constant excessive admiration, feel that they deserve privileges and special treatment, expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements, and make achievements and talents seem bigger than they are. Now, I am clearly a massive show-off. I have a YouTube channel. I think you're actually remembering now, the person who left these unpleasant comments and gave me the inspiration to make this video about narcissism, they took exception to me having two YouTube channels. So in their eyes, I'm a narcissist because I have two YouTube channels. Now, I think lots of people have more than one YouTube channel and they have multiple social media platforms. I don't think that necessarily makes them a narcissist, particularly as I've just highlighted a very clear definition. So yeah, I'm a massive show-off, but I don't think I'm a narcissist because I don't meet that definition that I've just shared. So I'm looking at it now. An unreasonably high sense of self-importance. Not at all. And I've spoken about in several videos about how equality matters so much to me. I don't think I'm better than anyone. Yes, I'm desperate for the validation of people that I'll probably never meet in person by making YouTube videos. I've heard stand-up comedians mention this and musicians, seeking that external validation. I suppose artists in general. So yes, I am a show-off. I am needy for attention. Although as an autistic person, I try to sort of duck and dive through life, not in a mischievous, conniving way. But what I mean by that is I try not to attract attention, but then I have two YouTube channels in which I'm saying, please give me attention. But that's not me saying that I'm massively self-important. I've got my own little corner of YouTube and I'm enjoying it. I'm not saying, look at me, I'm better than all those other YouTubers or better than anyone else. Not at all. Require constant excessive admiration. Does one YouTube video a week equal a requirement for excessive admiration? I don't think so. Would one video a day? One video every half an hour? I don't know what the criterion for that is in terms of narcissism and YouTube production. But I don't think I meet that criterion. Feel that they deserve privileges and special treatment. Well, thinking out loud, again, I've got a horrible habit of saying thinking out loud, or just said it again. Do I require special treatment? No. Reasonable adjustments? Yes, I've asked for those in the workplace. And they're reasonable adjustments. They're not special treatment. They're just making life slightly more amenable for me as an autistic person in a world designed for neurotypical people. But it's not special treatment. And I'm not someone who thinks that people should have privileges, that people are superior to others. Again, I've spoken about this in previous videos. Expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements. Well, no, I don't. Again, I keep saying I don't feel that I am superior. I don't think that I should be viewed as superior. But if you relate it to achievements, then it's not superiority, it's respect. Admiration, perhaps, but it's not saying, look at me, I've got a YouTube channel, I'm great. No. Like I said to the person who left these unpleasant comments and gave me the inspiration for this video, there's nothing stopping them setting up their own YouTube channel, would I then vindictively respond to that enterprise by saying, "Oh, yeah, you're a narcissist. How ironic. And you think you're superior." No, I wouldn't. I just let them do what they want to do. Let them be them. Um, you do you, I'll do me. Why be so unpleasant? There's no superiority or inferiority. It's just do your thing and try your best. I respect you for that. Not, look at me, I'm trying harder than you, and my YouTube channel's got X amount of followers, and you've only got that. No. If you're happy doing what you're doing and you're not harming anyone, then we're all good. And making achievements and talents seem bigger than they are. If anything, I do the opposite. I just downplay anything that I've done, and I think that is related to trauma. I think I'm my harshest critic. I never think that anything I've done is any good. Well, it's not quite true. Sometimes I make a YouTube video and I'm like, that's okay. But I don't sing and dance about it and say, look at me, and you should be giving that loads and loads of attention, more attention than it deserves. Not at all. I just do my thing and then move on to the next video, or write a song or a poem that no one's going to read. That endless drive to be creative, it regulates my mood, and I enjoy the flow. And I mentioned that in my previous video about happiness. So it's never about me saying, I am the greatest or I'm better than anyone else. I'm not a narcissist, and so I object strongly to what that person said about me. So I watched a video by Auticate with Chris and Debbie, and it's a brilliant channel. I've watched several of their videos, and so I'm basically stealing from the video on narcissism. So after these unpleasant comments, I went on YouTube, autism, narcissism, and the video by Auticate with Chris and Debbie came up. So I'm just going to scroll down on my list. So I picked out some points that they made. So, Chris said in the video about autistic people caring more about facts than feelings, and that can be perceived as being a narcissist. I can understand that. It's not about narcissism if an autistic person says, well, actually, no, this is the case. And if you start going around saying, I don't care about your feelings, these are the facts, then that's not correct. That's a lack of empathy. But this sort of adherence to facts, knowledge, certainty, I think is a common autistic trait. And it's not about narcissism. It's not about saying, look at me, I know everything. It's not. It's about certainty. I've just said it. It's about, well, no, this is the case. These are the facts. There's safety in knowledge. It's not superiority in knowledge. It's not bragging. It's just, I know this for a fact. I want to share it with you so we both know where each other stands. And, it's me being kind. I'm not saying, look at me, I know everything. So caring more about facts than feelings. I can understand how that is perceived as narcissism. Can barely say it, but it's definitely not narcissism. Conversations, not getting involved in turn taking, not getting involved in conversations and struggling to know when to take your turn. Absolutely. When I'm in a noisy environment, or a big group of people, and it's rapid fire verbal exchange, I really struggle to know when to say what I want to say, and I'm usually like 2-3 sentences behind. And that can be perceived as aloofness, like being separate from the group, and a narcissism. Oh, look at me, I'm separate to you. I'm better than you because I'm not getting involved in this conversation. Not at all. I want to, just not sure exactly when to say what I want to say. And related to that, being in your own world. This is again something I've stolen from Chris and Debbie. What's going on in my mind, as you can probably tell from this video, is very fast. There's lots of thoughts all competing to be expressed at the same time. When I'm walking down the street, I'm probably thinking about 10 things at once. And it looks like I've got the blinkers on, again, aloof from the rest of the world. I don't care about the rest of the world. No, I'd care very much about the rest of the world, but my brain is going 100 miles per hour. It's constant, and trying to work my way through my own thoughts is exhausting. So if I'm not minded to get involved in a conversation, and if I don't say hello to you first time round in the street, then I'm really sorry, but I'm not a narcissist. I'm not arrogant. I, I I'm working out what's going on in there. So yeah, I completely identify with what Chris said there. Facial expressions. I've talked about this in a video. Mono face. Not smiling. Like other people would smile. Not expressing surprise or sadness in a neurotypical way, shall we say? And got that flat effect. That's why I look so young, because there aren't so many wrinkles, because I'm not smiling all the time. Well, I say this, I'm quite miserable got a lot of the time. But anyway, it's common autistic trait not to have that flat affect, that still face. And that's not to say that I don't smile, I don't crease up when I find something really funny. But you get my point. It's not as animated. My face isn't as animated as a lot of people's faces are. And that can come across as being aloof, as being a narcissist, like you're above it all. I'm superior to what's going on in the world. I don't need to convey emotion, and it's not at all. It's just my face is more still, stiller. Ben Stiller. You see what's going on in my head? Connections, random connections. Anyway, I am very empathic. I perhaps don't show that through my facial expressions in the same way that a lot of other people do. But that's not to say that I'm a narcissist. Sensory plans, feeling the need to, I think Chris says dictate, not dictate. I get where he's coming from, but, stipulate, request that, like reasonable adjustments at work. But explaining to people that actually you would be happier if an environment was set up in a certain way, can come across, I suppose, as quite bossy, like, and self-interested, selfish. Like, well, I want things that way. Can you make those adjustments for me? Now, you could look at that and go, "Oh, well, get you. You're the important one." No, it's not about saying I'm superior to you. My needs are greater than yours. It's about, can you include my needs in the conversation as well as your needs? If anything, you could argue that neurotypical people have been narcissists by not incorporating reasonable adjustments for autistic people. So, I resent the accusation again that I'm a narcissist, and I would resent it if it was attached to that trait, that need that I have to, control my environment as much as I can. And it's not about control, narcissism. It's about, can I be included, please? Special interests. This YouTube channel, music, poetry, politics. You could say, you could view it as selfishness, self-absorption. Like, oh, get you. You've got all these interests and you spend so much time on them, and you're just devoted to yourself, your own, cultivation. I don't know why I said that word. Pretentious. But you know what I mean, like improving myself, or just making that time to enjoy myself. Well, yeah, damn right, because I'm autistic in a neurotypical world, and I really struggle a lot of the time. It's fast, it's insincere. Um, Often it's the case that the environment isn't designed for me. There's no consideration. And there's a lot of trauma in my life that I can now recognize, knowing that I'm autistic. The special interests provide a huge amount of comfort to me, and I'm increasingly of the view that I deserve to spend time on those special interests. I'm giving myself permission to make videos like this because they help regulate my mood. And if you want to accuse me of being selfish, of being a narcissist for doing something like this, then you can go ahead. That's your perception, but it's not the case. I'm giving myself permission. I'm hopefully resonating with other autistic people around the world, educating neurotypical people about autism, at least to some extent. There's no negative intention behind this special interest or my other special interests. Sensitivity to criticism, again, stolen is from Chris and Debbie. And I've got in brackets, trauma, being misunderstood. So yeah, if I seem extra sensitive to criticism or judgment, that's not to say I'm disregarding your opinion, or I think you're entirely wrong. How dare you say something negative about me or anything I've done? Um, I think you have to bear in mind that as an autistic person in a world not designed for me, I've experienced a lot of misunderstanding, of being ignored, sidelined, misinterpreted, and so on and so on. Um, I just, if when I get criticized for anything, it could be really, really small, it hurts perhaps more than it should. But again, after more than 4 decades of being misunderstood, when I've done something and people have viewed it negatively, when I receive criticism, I've got all of that baggage, running around my head. So, it's not about saying, how dare you criticize me? It's saying, I've been criticized a lot when I've been trying to do good things. Go easy on me. And letting things go, or rather not letting things go, and ruminating. So constantly whirring things around my mind, um, and insisting upon accuracy. Again, relates to caring about facts. It's not to say I have to be right all of the time. You're wrong, I'm right, and I'm better than you. No, it's because again, I just want people to know, to understand me, and this is so frustrating to try and convey to people. This is what I believe. I'm not saying this to make out that I'm more clever than you. I just want to be understood. And again, after more than 4 decades of not being understood very often, I'm even more insistent on getting my point across. And when people don't understand me, or they willfully, misinterpret what I've said or done, I will ruminate on that. I am my worst critic, as I've already said, and things whir around my mind, and it upsets me a lot. So I'm less likely to ruminate if I'm misunderstanding myself. I'm less likely to ruminate if people, try harder to understand me and what I'm doing, and don't view it as me being a narcissist. Hopefully in this video, I've gone some way to explaining how my own head works. And if you're autistic, hopefully you'll identify with at least some of what I've said. But yeah, to be called a narcissist, it clearly, it's again, being misunderstood. That person misunderstood me and my intentions. It's very, very annoying. And they, I believe, they are also autistic. So it's not just me having a go at neurotypical people saying, understand me. I'm talking about autistic people understanding me as well. So yes, I'm a show-off. Yes, I like attention. I like praise. I receive just the most life-affirming comments in response to my videos. Who wouldn't love reading lovely comments from strangers, from anyone? It's brilliant. It keeps me going. But I'm doing the channel to connect with other autistic people, to help autistic people, and to give me a focus in the week that takes me away from work, away from politics. It's it's a special interest that helps me to be happy, to be content. It's not about me being superior to anyone, because I believe that we should all treat each other fairly, and there shouldn't be a hierarchy. We're all human beings. So I'm not a narcissist, I am a show-off. We'll leave it at that. So thank you so much for listening. If you've got this far, any suggestions for future videos, as always, let me know. Please frame them nicely. Don't, not in a thinly veiled attack via a comment, or a completely transparent critique of what I've done. Please don't, weave it in that way. Just say, I would like you to do a video about this. And let's all be sensible and kind to each other. So thanks for listening, and take care.